This is your one and only 𝙊𝙪𝙩𝙧𝙤 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome to Atlas. Today we're going to talk about tips for beginners. Let's get to it. The first tip we are going to cover is finding drinkable water. You can find drinkable water pretty much anywhere that you have this grass tile like you see here. Sometimes you can find it in the sand, but you're going to have your best luck in the grass tile here, and all you have to do is hit X to get down on the ground, and then you just left click with your mouse button and you click it when it lands on the little white area. After you get it 3 times, you will end up with 60 total water. If you only get it once, you get 20, and so on and so on. And then you can just hit E to drink from the little water spout. That little water spout will hang out there for quite some time. Now, if you want actual large amount of drinking water, you need a shovel. Shovel is going to be one of your best friends in this game. So we're gonna go over here just to get away from that area because you can't keep digging in the same area. So let's try right here. So we'll try to dig again. Nope, that is not a good area. We're gonna move on up the hill here and try again. Let's try this area. Here we go. So you can see that we got the bar just like we did before. We also dug up some potatoes. So if you're in a hurry for some food, that's always a good way to maybe get some food. And I say maybe get some food because you won't always get potatoes. But if you do manage to click and land on the bar, you will start to dig for water and you will get the bar 3 times total. And you click on all of them and you will get 600 drinking water. So if you're with a bunch of people, this is a great way for everybody to be able to fill up on their water and drink it. The downside is I haven't been able to figure out how to fill anything with this water. You just drink from it from the ground, and it gets the job done. And this spout will hang out for quite some time as well. So no matter where you're at, as long as you have a green patch like this somewhere, even tiny little green patches, I found just the tiniest little slivers of green patch I've been able to dig in before. I don't know if we got any around here, but even like if it was just this area right here, just that area, you may be able to dig it and find drinking water. So with that knowledge, you should not have any issues finding water when you are thirsty. The next tip I have for you is all about the Minimap. So you have 2 maps. You have this map here when you hit M, and if you go into your inventory and click over here where it says Atlas, you can see a much larger map. But if you'll notice, when I zoom out of this map, it also zooms out over here, and when I zoom in, it also zooms in over here. However, when we are on this map, you can rotate your middle mouse button to zoom in and out, and it does not zoom when you are just holding this map. If you want to zoom this map, you can hit the plus and minus keys on your number pad, and you can zoom in and out of this map here. The downside is this one centers on where you are at, so you can't move it around like you can this one. So if we take this one here, you can see that if I right click, I can actually drag this one around and look at different areas. If we zoom all the way out, I can drag it around and look at all different areas this way. But you can't do that with this one. If you zoom out and move it, it'll move that way. And if you zoom in and zoom out, it will just reorient itself and recenter. So keep that in mind for when you are sailing, so you can zoom in when you need to and zoom out when you need to. Okay, so next tip, we're going to talk about rafts a little bit here. Rafts are a bit of a pain in the butt because they have no rudder. You are stuck with going in whatever direction the wind is blowing, but there's a few things you can do to change that to your advantage, and I'm going to show you those. So we're going to put the sails all the way down. We have the wind right now, and we're kicking off, and you can see we're going pretty fast for being on a little raft. But here's the problem. What if I want to go backwards? So we're going to close the sails. Now, if I was to turn the sails, so if we go here and we turn the sails this way, the raft will slowly turn this way, and then we're going to lose the wind, which is bad because that's, not what you want. You need the wind in order to move your raft. So let me demonstrate that here. So we're going to just keep turning the sails, and we're going to be turning, and we're turning, and then we're eventually just going to lose the wind and come to a stop. And you're like, Well, that's great. That means I can only go that way. That's terrible. Rafts are horrible. Yes, rafts are horrible. But there are a few things you can do to gain control of the wind, and they don't really make sense because of the fact that if it was IRL, it would blow you backwards. But you can see we just caught the wind just now, even though the sail is backwards. We're technically moving forward against the wind, but we're also turning. In order to stop that, let me lower the sails here. You need to rotate back and forth. So essentially, watch up here. Watch what I do. So you would do this and your raft would turn. Let me put these at 10% so we can move slowly. So your raft will start to turn and you're like, yay, my raft's turning. And then you would also rotate back the other way when the raft turns too far. So let me go back out and reset this thing because we were moving really fast there, and I will try to demonstrate what I am explaining here. Okay, now that we're much further out, I'm going to turn really sharp. We're actually going to bring down our speed just a little bit to about 60, and we're going to slowly turn. You can see that the raft is turning. We have no wind. We're pretty much dead in the water, but because I have turned the sails, and you can see they're facing this way, the raft is continuing to turn, but it's going to straighten up. You can see that it's slowly straightening up as the raft turns around. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to turn those sails until we catch the wind again going in the opposite direction. And it's going to continue to turn the raft. You can see the wind is going that way. It's starting to spin. So what we do is, in order to stay straight, you're just going to immediately turn the sails all the way around the other way. And then the raft will start to turn to the right now. Now the raft is starting to turn to the right. We're going to let it go. We're just going to watch that arrow. And essentially right now, what we're doing is we are sailing against the wind. Now, technically this isn't possible because it would push us backwards, but you know, game mechanics, it makes total sense. So that's how, if you're stuck out in the water and you're trying to control these things, that will hopefully help some of you out. This next tip is actually to build a sleuth as soon as you can and get away from the raft. The raft is absolutely terrible to control, because if this wind was going sideways right now and we needed to go in this direction, it would be extremely difficult for us to do that. Okay, so here we are on the sleuth. Now, the game leads you to believe that you need a crew to pilot something like this with more than one sail and all that stuff, and you really don't. And you can build the sleuth with the small dock. So let's go over here. We're going to go into our skills. So you're going to want to unlock the seamanship as soon as you can, and you can unlock that through the construction. So you're going to hit construction here, then you're going to go down, straight down this path here, and it will lead to the seamanship. So you can just follow the blue line. So we learned the basics of building, then we learned weaving, then we learned the secrets of building, and then we learned seamanship. Once you do that, you can see that it then leads you to this section here. So we've unlocked this whole tree, and then we just worked our way down this tree here. You're going to grab the different sails, and you're going to continue on down the tree, getting bigger and bigger ships. But when you unlock the shipwright, it gives you the ability to build the sloop. And the sloop is super handy because it's a small ship. It's relatively easy to build, and you can easily pilot it yourself. So I'm going to show you that right now. So we have two sails here. I have a speed sail and I have a just a normal basic sail. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the speed sail down, and you can see right now we don't have any wind. We're in the red. So what we want to do is we want to move that over. So we're going to kick it over here to 37.5. Now it has the wind, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. So we're going to open it full, and we're going to move it over here to, should be 22. Let's do 30. And now I can come back here to this, and I can actually steer the ship. So if I hold down right, you can see that the ship is moving to the right, and it should start moving forward once we get off the ground there. and now you can see we're moving forward. So as long as I'm going in this direction, it will continue to move in this direction. Now if I move a little bit off of this direction, so if we say turn to the right a little more, you can see we're starting to lose the wind. Oh no, we lost the wind. That's no problem. Just hit E, get off your steering wheel here, go over here to your sails, and you're just going to rotate them and catch the wind again. Once you're back in the wind's favor, you will be able to start moving forward again, and then you can just go back here and you can control your ship. Now you can move the ship really easy, just a little bit nudge here and there without losing a lot of wind, and do mild steering. It's only when you do, vast amounts of steering that you have to go up there and recorrect your sails. But this ship is easily manageable and easily pilotable by just one person, even with 2 sails. And I think you could probably get away with one sail on this ship, but 2 is just so much better. Gets you that nice speed and gives you the control. You could do a weight sail if you wanted to. All right, so we're going to go completely around here, and I'm just going to spin completely around and head back to shore, and I will show you. So we're doing complete turn, and you can see we lost the wind again, but that's fine. It's no big deal. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go a little bit that way, just like that. I'm just trying to steer it, line it up a little bit there. Now we're going to go over here and we're going to just spin our sails around that way, should do it, and spin this one around that way there, should do it. And now I can just come back here. Oh, actually, nope, that one doesn't quite have the wind yet. I think the speed sail's moving us though. We might have to turn just a little bit. The one downside to these as opposed to the raft is that these sails don't do a complete 360 like the raft does. So sometimes you got to steer just a little bit off course like you see here, just to get the wind to catch the sails when it's at a bad angle. But for the most part, you have a lot more control, and it is way easier to steer and control this ship, and you're not fighting with it, you're not zigzagging back and forth, and it's just build one as soon as you can. The next tip I have for you is crafting stations are not secure. So if you have a crafting station on your ship, like you can see I have there, or on your raft, or in your house, make sure you take, well, if it's in your house, if you have a door, you're okay. But if it's on your ship or out in front of your house or anywhere that anybody can get to it, do not leave resources in it, because people can easily access the stuff inside of it, use the crafting station, and steal your supplies. If you have chests like these, you can go into set pin code and set a pin code for them, and they should be secure, and it should keep people out of them. So chests are okay, but crafting stations are not. Anybody can get into your crafting stations and they can steal your stuff, so keep that in mind. Make sure they are secure, and that way you won't lose all of your resources. Okay, next up, let's talk about vitamins. So your herbs and your vegetables will give you vitamin A. So potatoes and corn and all that stuff, cilantro, all your different herbs and all your different vegetables, they will always give you vitamin A. So if you're running out of that, you know what to eat there. Meat will give you vitamin B. And fruits and berries will give you vitamin C. And fish and milk from cows will give you vitamin D. Now, there may be other things that you can get down the road, but as starting out, these are easiest things to get. Milk, maybe not so easy because you have to learn Beastmaster and tame a cow, but that's one that I know of that gives you vitamin D besides fish, so I just wanted to throw that tip in there. But early game, fish will get you vitamin D super easy. You can get fish really easy with a bow or a spear. Just go over into the water. Once you're swimming, hit C to go under the water, because C takes you down, spacebar takes you up. So hit C to swim down, look for a fish, and then shoot it with a bow or hit it with a spear, and then bring it back up on land and harvest it. Really easy to do. Fishing super easy, and that's a great way to get vitamin D. That was one that I struggled with for a little while before I figured that one out. So there you go. That's vitamins. Super easy to keep those under control now that you know what you need to eat to get them. A really great way to collect water when it rains is the water barrels, and you can learn those in the cooking tree. If we go over here, we go to cooking, you see right right at the top, we got water storage, and you can learn the water barrel when you learn that. One really cool thing about the water barrel is when you take off the lid, it'll fill up with rain, but if you close the lid and you go hold down E, you can actually pick up that water barrel. You can take it around wherever you want to go with it, and then you can place it back down and it continues to hold all of the water that was in it. So it gives you a really easy way to transport water around, which is absolutely fantastic. You can put it on your ship or wherever. Now, keep in mind that these have a lot of weight to them, and that weight will actually count towards your ship's weight. So if we pick this up and we come over here and we put it on the raft, and then we come over here to the raft, you can see that the weight just went up there on the raft. So if we now pick it back up and I will place it over here, and you can see the raft's weight went down. Now, something to keep in mind, if your ship is overweight, it will start to sink, and when it does so, it'll start to take damage, and as long as it's overweight, it will continue to take damage until it sinks, so you'll have to get the weight off of it. That will prevent it from sinking, and it will just gain back all the health that it was losing due to having too much weight. Next little tip that is super handy is you can hold down H to see what resources you are going to get from harvesting things, plus a wealth of other information. So if we come up here, you can see if I look at this, I'm going to get the acai berries, and I'm going to get them from that. That's going to give me aloe. Whatever you look at, it's going to show you. It also shows you the day that you're on, shows you the time, shows you your name, your level, temperature, where you're at. You can see that this is going to give us limestone and radio, what is that, lart? I don't even know. And then we can come over here, look at the tree, and see that that's going to give us strong wood and fronds. And it also, if you see that green border there, that is my land claim, so it shows you that, as well as enemy land claims. You can see a little bit of a red line over there in the distances. That is other player land claims, so you can see those as well just by holding down H. Now, I highly recommend mapping this to tab. You can go into your menu here and go to your key bindings, and you can easily remap that to tab right here where it says extended HUD info. So you just go right there, click there, and then hit your tab key, and that will remap it to tab, which is a lot easier and closer to hit. And tab is not being used by anything, so it's a good one to map it to. And then you can have that. You can actually move around much easier than trying to stretch your hand all the way across the keyboard while hitting the W key, and just look at everything that's on the screen and see what you want to harvest. It's a good way to find pure metal nodes that way. So we're going to talk about skills real quick. One of the first things I highly recommend unlocking, besides the basic stuff, so of course you want the basic tools, this, and then you want to get the advanced tools so you can get metal, but you also want to come over here where it says hand-to-hand combat, learn that, and then follow that down to here where it says basic higher hand harvesting yield. That's going to increase your hand harvesting yield, so everything you harvest yourself, and then just follow that on down and just learn all of that, clear up till you get to the 60% marker. It's going to give you a really nice increase in harvesting, and I highly recommend learning that relatively quickly. It's going to make harvesting way easier on you learning that. As soon as you can, learn the bows, because the bows are super handy for getting experience. You can get experience simply by shooting stuff, especially the alphas. So you can see that glowing elephant over there is an alpha elephant. And if I shoot him, I can get experience. Pardon me one second while I take care of this stupid bee. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, just shooting the alpha will give you experience and allow you to level, even if you can't kill it. You can make a grappling hook, get up to a high area, and then just shoot down on them or kite them around and shoot them. Killing them definitely gets you a lot of experience, but even if you can't kill them, if you can just get a couple of shots off on them and then run away, that's still helpful to you as well. It's just a really really easy way to gain experience. On the official server, this is a server here that I'm playing on now, is not an official server, but on official servers, we were getting like 19 experience. My tribe mates were gaining 19 experience while I was shooting a alpha monkey, or whatever you want to call them, rare alphas, whatever you want to call them, the glowy animals. It was just a little monkey, and I was shooting it, and they were getting 19 experience. That was on official, and that was for me shooting it. I'm not sure what I was getting, but when they shot it, I was getting 19 as well. So just a little something there to keep in mind for trying to level faster. And like I said, if you can actually manage to kill the alphas, then that's even better. But if you can't, just shoot them a couple times and run away. Alright, so that's pretty much all I have for you for this video, but I am going to have a ton of Atlas content on this channel, lots of tutorials and guides and tips and all of that stuff as I learn more about the game. But I wanted to do a beginner's tips video like I always do to get to everybody who's getting the game now, to get them into the game, get them going, and make things a little bit easier on them. So if you like this video, if you found it helpful, make sure you subscribe, share it, all that good stuff. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you like what you saw, consider hitting that sub button. I want to give a big thank you to my patrons for making this episode possible. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to join my elite crew of Patreon supporters, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like the comment, just hit that thumbs up button and show your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.